Yo, what's going on, you guys? Today I'm gonna be talking about an experience that I was debating on whether or not I should upload the video or not. It took me 5 days to decide, but I finally decided that I'm going to upload this and share you guys my experience with Hayden. Now, before I start with anything, just want to make it clear that I don't hate Hayden, and this is not a hate video towards him. This is just an experience of mine with him, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So, yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so I'll just jump right into the conversation and show you guys a screenshot of what happened. I'll just go through the timeline and tell you guys what happened. Basically, on February 16, as you guys can see on the screenshot, I contacted him. I saw his story, and it basically said that he's finding more success selling products that are higher ticket items, like $55, $50, stuff like that, instead of like $8. And I just replied to that story, and I just said that I experienced the same thing, and I got my first sale through a high ticket item, and I showed you guys that in my video of how I got my first sale. If you guys want to check it out, linked in the description below. But yeah, I told him about that, and he just said yup. And this was like 6 days later, and I was pretty happy about that because I didn't think he would reply, but he did. Then later on February 27th, I asked him a question. Now, usually I don't like to approach people with a question. I tend to give them value first, or actually provide them with something instead of just getting free information. So I debated on whether or not I should ask him, but in one of his videos he said, like, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to help you guys out. So I just gave it a shot and decided to ask him this question. It was this question about a product that I was selling and whether or not I should go through with it. Obviously I didn't get a reply, which I was fine with. Like I said, I like giving value too, and regardless of whether or not he said he'll help out or not. And I thought maybe he's just busy because he gets a lot of DMs. Then almost 20 days later, he posted a story of him wanting a YouTube banner, and I just replied with my portfolio. And then he actually replied to my previous questions, just said, just depends, means it's definitely had traction at some point, gotta test it. And just basic advice. But again, I was pretty happy. I wasn't sure if he wanted the header or not. So then later on April 19th, I asked him, I'm selling a blank related product, but I can't find good influencer for it. Should I go with the meme page? And would you like a free YouTube header? I'll be happy to make one. So when I asked him that question, I wanted to give him value back, and for me, graphic designing was the only way I could help him back, because obviously he doesn't need help with e-commerce or Shopify or anything like that. So I decided to help him with whatever he needed. So he wanted a YouTube header. I'm like, I'll be happy to make you one for free, because usually what people do is rip you off. Since they would know Hayden makes a lot of money, they would go to him and ask him for like $100 or whatever to make him a header. So that's why I wanted to help him out, and hopefully he can answer my question too. And yeah, one more thing, the main reason I wanted to give him a free header was just to show that I cared, and I wanted to provide him value first before I asked him for anything, just to build a relationship. Maybe he just remembers me or something like that. I just didn't want to be a random guy who just asked him questions. So this was my way of showing him that I actually cared and I wanted to provide value. And some of you guys might know this, but YouTube headers take a lot of time. A lot of people don't realize that, but they could take a lot of time. It's just like painting, and you have to build everything from scratch. You need to have creative ideas. So yeah, but anyways, after that, the next day he replies with, yeah, could test that out, and sure, let's make one and send it over, let's see what you got. Now that wasn't my question, but basically he said the same thing like he said before, test it out. So I'm like, okay. And I asked him test what out, because I was confused, and then he didn't reply with. So 3 days later, I just told him, I'll make you a header. And whenever I provided him with value, he replied instantly, and when I asked him a question, he didn't bother to reply, which was completely fine. So then, like, the next day at 7:46 p.m., he sends me his pictures. Now the pictures were pretty blurry, and that's because Instagram ruins the quality, as you guys can see. So I wanted him to email the pictures, which you guys will see later. He didn't do that, maybe possibly because he didn't want to share his email or whatever, but it created a challenge for me and my friend. Since we were both doing it, we wanted to make it perfect. It was a challenge because since they were low res, we couldn't expand the image and make it bigger and do something with it. So in short, we weren't completely creatively free because we couldn't make what we wanted to since the images were low res. So then after that, I also asked him like what he wants on the header and style. Usually when in the beginning, I usually ask people what they want, colors, theme, all that stuff, because otherwise, you know, if I make it for them and they don't like it, it's a problem. Like, it's not a problem, I can fix it, but you know, there's a million ways we can go about making the header, so we want to make sure it relates to the person. You know, if I want a red theme banner and the guy makes it a yellow theme banner, obviously I wouldn't like it. So these are the key information that a graphic designer wants in the beginning so they can personalize the header for you. But he just said just be creative and you can take stuff off IG. So he didn't give me any information on how I should get the header done, what colors, what theme he wants. So we were basically on our own. And then after that he said, this is your design, not mine. I want to see what you can do. So I'm like, okay. I told him if he can send me the pictures via email. He didn't reply. Then I sent him my email so he can just email it to me. He didn't. So the next day I had his header done. Now this header took me 3 hours to get done, and I actually sent it over to my friend to make sure everything's fine and if he can edit in any way. We just wanted to make sure that it's the perfect header, because what people do is when they're doing free work, they try to rub it off you. So they'll just show you that it's free, that's why I'm not putting all my effort in, and they're just trying to show you that they're doing you a huge favor. I didn't want to do that, so I just simply said nothing, and I just want to make sure it was perfect. So I put 3 hours into it. I sent it over to my friend to edit it and make it even better, and that's what we got. As you guys can see, the header honestly turned out pretty good. And again, if he wanted changes, we could have made it. And one more thing, he didn't tell us what type of header he wanted, what theme he wanted, and what colors he wanted. So we basically went off and chose red and black because that's what we thought would look good. So this is where things go wrong. So I basically tell him that this is what my friends came up with, and here's the HTTP link. Let me know if you want changes or new ones. We even made him a profile picture, and the same day I asked him, hey man, what do you think? Because he usually replied pretty fast when I asked him for the pictures or anything like that. So I wasn't sure why he wasn't replying. So I just asked him, hey man, what do you think? We can make changes if needed. Now immediately when he didn't reply, I knew that it was because he didn't like it, and he just doesn't want to reply because he didn't pay. So might as well, you know, he doesn't want to tell me the header doesn't look good or whatever. So he didn't immediately. I kind of knew that that's the reason he didn't reply. Then the next day I basically posted a picture of Hayden's banner on my story and showed my followers how it looked like. Then 4 days later, this is where I'm getting anxious. I'm like, why isn't he replying? I asked him, hey man, I would appreciate if you can reply. I put a lot of time into this, because obviously if you put a lot of time into this, you want the person to see it. And then that's when he replies with, that's not really the style I'm going for. I want it to be bright and positive. Black and red doesn't portray that. And this is where I go wrong a bit, but I basically got a little bit pissed, because if he told me that before, if he told me he wants it positive and he wants these colors or whatever, he doesn't want black and red, we would have easily made that and we would have done it that way. But he didn't tell us, so I just told him that we're not mind readers, and if he told us that before, we would have done it. And I was willing to edit it for him. It's fine if he doesn't like the header. I was just mad at the fact that he didn't tell us this information before. Plus he took 6 days to reply, and if I hadn't sent him the message on May 5th, he would have probably not replied, and basically all of our effort would have gone to waste. So that's why I was kind of mad. But again, I should have kept it cool, and I shouldn't have said that we're not mind readers or anything like that. And I told him I can make the edit, tell me the colors you would like, because again, we're gonna make a whole new header, spend another 3 hours or whatever. Plus, one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm paying my friend because I respected his time and I didn't want him to do it for free. And also, I had to pay him again so he can make the new header along with me, of course. So I wanted to make sure it's right, so I'd ask him what colors he wants. Then then he didn't reply, so 2 days later, I asked him, yo, I'm sorry, I wanted to apologize, I felt bad. And I said, yo, I'll make it again, just send me the HD quality. And yeah, so... And then after that, he basically didn't reply, as you guys can see. And that's what really made me lose the respect for him, is because he didn't really say anything during this whole process. We spent a lot of time, and again, he wouldn't have replied if we didn't send him all these messages. And the fact that he didn't say thank you or respect that we put a lot of time into this really made me lose respect, because as you guys can see, he just basically bashes the header, doesn't really thanks me or anything. I'm not saying he should thank me, but it's ethics basically, and he didn't like compensate for anything. Like the same thing happened to me. One guy came up to me and he wanted to make a free header for me, and it was actually pretty bad, and he didn't really put time into it, but obviously I respected his time and his effort, and I wanted to compensate for it, so I gave him the money. And again, it wasn't about the money. I'm not asking him to pay me money or anything. This is about giving respect or compensating for something, because a person spent a lot of time onto you for what? So basically you spent all that hours for nothing, and that's what made me lose respect. A simple thank you would have been enough, and it would have been fine, but the fact that he just bashed the header and didn't bother to reply after that, even though I said sorry, it's made me lose respect. Again, I do watch some of his videos, they're pretty good, but yeah, that's this whole story. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry if I rambled on. I hope I worded it correctly. Let me know what you guys think, and whether or not you think I'm right or if he's right. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Follow me on Instagram. I might do a free header giveaway, or I don't know. Just follow me on Instagram at Saad Alvi01. And yeah, guys, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications. I'm planning to upload every other day. And yeah, I'm out.